In this video, I'm going to show you many different features that you can use in Photoshop to optimize your thumbnails for YouTube. Now, although Photoshop is a very strong, well-built software, and it offers many features that 99% of us will never need to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the things that I use on a daily basis in my workflow to create thumbnails, banners, advertisements, or maybe you want to make a brochure, something like that. These techniques are going to help you overall. In essence, this is going to be a video that will teach you all you need to know to use Photoshop on a daily basis. That's about as simple as I know how to put it. Okay. We've already shared the pinwheel technique in the course, so there's no need for me to elaborate on that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start out with a couple images here, and let's pull this one in here. And whether you're on Mac or Windows, if you're on Mac, you can just drag your photo over here to Photoshop and release it, and it'll actually open inside of it. Whether you knew that or not, I figured I'd share it with you. Now, looking at this photo right up front, I see a couple of items in there that I could actually cut out and use in other images very easy and fast. Now, to do that, we're going to cut the iPhone from the image, and to increase the size of this image, you need to hold Command and hit the plus or equal sign. So that's about enough, okay? If you wanted to shrink an image, you just hit the minus sign beside of the image. So what we need to do here first is duplicate this layer in order to be able to change things on it, because the background is locked right here. But when we duplicate it, we can just turn this off, and now we're left with the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab the quick selection tool, and that's about the right size right there, I think. And then I'm just going to go around the edges of this phone, and you see it's going to actually, for the most part, it's going to trim it out just right for us. And if it doesn't, then we can come back and fix that later on. But now, if we were going to take our time and really do a really great job, we probably would have actually blown this up much larger and used a smaller tool than we're using right here. Okay. Now here's going to be where we have to be careful in using these buttons. Okay. So to do that, you just hold that on your mouse and drag around. You saw that. Now if it's too far out, like right here, and you wanted to bring it back over, you can just hold down your Option key, and you see the plus turns into a minus. Then you can just put it on there and just click, and you see it pushed you right back over on there. And then you can sort of go back in and sort of redo it a little bit. Alright, so now that we have that outlined, we're going to go up here and we're going to open a new file. We'll just do 1280 720, and that is the size you need for your thumbnails in YouTube. So keep that in mind, okay? So we'll call this YouTube Thumb 1, and I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to open this up. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to simply get my Move tool up here, and I'm just going to pick this up, and I'm going to move it over here, And as you can see, it's a little bit too small, so I'm going to Command T to get the transform around there, and then I can drag it up as big or as small as I want to make it, okay? And I use this type of technique a lot, especially using YouTube videos, stuff like that. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll sort of flip it on its side a little bit just to make it look a little bit better, and then I'll blow it up a little bit bigger, and that gives it just a little bit more of a, I guess, a little bit better look to it. But as you can see, for the most part, our cutout looks pretty good. But if you wanted to actually move it or try to make it a little bit better, you could hit Command and the plus sign right here, and then you can look around to see if there's anything that needs to be, like right here. I'm just doing this mainly to show you what you could do. You could click the selection tool right there and come down here, and if you wanted to, let's say I'm looking for a tool here, erase tool, and that's entirely too big, and we'll set that to hard. So right here, see, I can drag along that edge and remove that. So if I wanted to clean this up if there was something that needed to be removed, see, I can go right along here if I wanted to and take my time and actually remove every bit of this little dark spots up through here. But you see, I got in over too far. So that's a little bit of how you can clean it up, okay? That's your move tool, and I'm going to shrink it back down to about normal size. And then now what I would do is I'll drag this back over here where I want it. I would come in here and just hit the text and just type, and I'm just going to type iPhone Captain in here for no particular reason, and I'll drag it over here, and you Command T to make it larger, okay? And I hit enter, and as you can tell, you know, I really don't like that text. It actually looks pretty crappy, to be honest with you. So I'm going to choose text, and I got it highlighted over here, so I'm going to go over here and we'll choose this one. That looks a little bit heavier and easier to read, probably. So what I always like to do too to my text is I always like to stroke it because it looks better. It just makes it pop regardless of what color you're using on the background. And that's another thing you need to do. You should have went down here. We should have duplicated this layer. Hit OK. We'll just turn that one off. And now we can come over here to our gradient tool and come up here and choose anything we want, or we can make any color we want for a background. But I'm just going to use that one just for purposes of the video. So for the most part, being able to cut different images from other images and paste them in is going to be a technique you use over and over and over again, okay? Now, here's something you can do also. If you wanted to drag this photo in here and say all you wanted was just to use the background, it can be done by just doing this right here. Now, all I did was drag the image in and drop it on top of the thumbnail we was creating. Now I've Command T to transform, hit enter, and now you see I have this beautiful lake and sky background, and it just looks great. So that's probably 4 or 5 features of Photoshop that I use daily to make my thumbnails, banners, everything I do with Photoshop. I use that right there. But now there's different things you can do over here now, guys. Keep in mind, there's actually a clone stamp. So if I wanted to clone this cloud right here, I can hold down. Shit, I'm sorry. I can hold down my command key. I'm sorry, my option key, and then hit the click and click, option click, and that's going to allow me to copy that. Okay? I'm sorry, to clone it. Got to be rasterized. Alright, so let's rasterize. But that's something else I use, okay? See, right here now we got this turned on. So now, you see I got the little X right there whenever I hold my I'm holding the right click button down on the mouse. Now I can actually clone those clouds anywhere I want them up here. And if I wanted to clone these trees, I could clone these trees around here by simply, or more water or whatever it is I wanted. Like I could make this go away right here and make it water. It looks like now that there's a little draw back in there, which to me that looks pretty cool. But I mean, we could do away with every one of these trees if we wanted to just take our time and just do it just like you see me doing right here. Okay, see how easy it is to just eliminate those trees. But like I said, you know, we probably would need to click a different spot. Let's click right here, hit click. Now we can get rid of them without having any problems. Okay, now it's sort of blending in, and I'll show you how you can make that look better too. We're just mainly right now wanting to get rid of the trees. Now what we need to do is click on the water up here and go back over this like so to make the water look better. So see how great that tool works and how easy it is. It just looks like it was just made for that. Very, very good way to do that. And that's a lot of the ways how those professional photographers, they will actually remove a blemish from a model's face, or add a beauty spot. They call them beauty spots if you're pretty. They're moles if they're on me, but beauty spots to their models. I mean, there's just so much you can do with that clone tool. It's a very, very good tool, very useful tool. And you also have something in here called a patch tool and a healing brush that does very good too when you're doing that sort of technique that you just saw us using right there. So here's the patch tool, and it works a little bit different. You have to sort of make a selection and make a patch, then you can move it like so. Okay. Use patch as source. So then you can come over here and do like that to make your clouds look different. There's a lot of different ways to use these techniques, and it just takes practice to be able to use them. But what I'm going to do next is show you how to use a mask That's a very important thing that you can use to make your text look awesome, as well as a lot of other things you can use masks for. So hope you learned something from this video for taking out images, copying them and pasting them in others, and dragging other images in for backgrounds, putting the stroke around your text, and using your clone tool, as well as the move tool, transform. So we'll talk again in the next video.